Coucou les amis,
Coucou
c'est
les
Mango.
amis. And strawberry.
Um, we kind of missed the whole 2 weeks vibe here, but guys, be patient with us. Life gets in the way, schedules are hard to meet, so we will have a system soon, and that's a promise. And the social media, we're really trying here, okay? Like getting it to be alive, but still need a little bit of grace on that. And however, happy
Happy
Wednesday
Wednesday.
when you're hearing.
So, we are going to talk about another big subject, which is,
Gender roles.
yeah, I think it's a pretty big one. Yeah, there is a lot of things that we could like talk about, but I think that this one has an effect in our life on a daily basis. So that I think that's why it's important.
Yep, that is correct. Well, how about? Oh my God, I just can't stop yawning.
Cut.
And cut. But how about Strawberry? You lead us in the definition of gender roles and also gender norms, so we all are on the same page.
Yeah, so the gender roles are like the social and cultural expectation about how the people should behave based on their perceived gender. So, for example, the men are most of the time seen as providers, and women are seen as like caregivers. And the gender norms is like the informal rules about gendered behavior. So, you are a boy, you don't cry. And girl, you will play, I don't know, with Barbies, or girls are nurturing because that's the norms and the roles that they have in the society. And there is also like a difference between sex and gender, where sex is like the biological attributes like male, female, intersex, and the gender is like more socially, it's like more a social and cultural identity, like woman, man, non-binary, etc.
Yeah.
And
Well, it is also important to take in the historical factor of it. I mean, all of these have an origin. So, what do you have to say about that? I feel like I'm interviewing you now. It's so stupid. Um, I may scratch that, but keep going.
I think that it's always has been like that, and except if people understand that you cannot things cannot change if we don't change how we think. And for example, we are tied to the history of gender roles. Like the men at the beginning of like history, they hunted. The women cared for the children. And I think that they became at some point like really rigid traditions over the centuries. And even if you are a woman that works, she'll still be like, and she doesn't want to have any children, people will be like, oh no, but at some point you will want children, you know?
And sometimes that time never comes. I
No,
mean,
and that's okay.
and also sometimes people may not understand. All people see is I don't want children, but they don't know if the I don't want is the source of I am unable to carry any myself, or even I have so much trauma having been a child that I don't think it's fair to bring another human into this world, which is totally understandable.
Yeah. And also I think that most of human beings should go to therapy at some point. I'm not saying that everybody has issues, but just, to deep issues where you have the need to go to the therapist. But some people will have issues because that's part of life. And I mean, without any issues, you're not a human.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that everybody should go at least once to see a therapist and be like, because I think that if you have children and you did not dealt with your issues, it's after that it will be transgenerational trauma.
Mm, yeah. You would
And
just keep passing down what you experience
yeah,
in a different light.
like even today we have like globalization, feminism, and that challenge the traditional roles of women, but still the historical norms are persisting.
Mm-hmm.
And even if there is like a shift of expectation in a way, you still expect it to, because there are some people that are very not mature but evolved, and some people will be like, no, it's not. For example, if a man is like helping, not helping but like doing his part at the home with his wife or girlfriend, whatever, they will be like, oh, that's so cool, your guy is helping you. No, he's not helping, he's just doing his part, that's it.
We talked about how historically, like, men were providers and hunters, and women stayed home, took care of the home. And I think it's also important to address that that was not like the worldly, like everybody agreed on the same notes. I think it was the majority,
Mm-hmm.
because there are places in the world where in the past, maybe even today, tribes that recognized that women were stronger, like tribes who had a leader who was a woman,
Yeah,
and women in those tribes were celebrated and loved and cared for and not limited. They were respected because people understood the toll it took to, first of all, carry a child and care for a family. So that's just to say there is a possibility for shifting views. However, are we ready for that?
I think we should be. I think we should be ready for that and not except for expect, sorry, for the woman to be everywhere, taking care of the, for example, if the couple has like children, taking care of the children, taking care of the house, taking care of the work that she has, and just not helping. Saying that the guy is helping is not, I don't like that term.
My biggest thing nowadays is when you see guys, you hear guys like when they're out with their friends. Yeah, I was babysitting my kid. Babysitting?
No, you're not. You're taking care of your kid.
You partake in the activity to make them,
Yeah.
and you're babysitting them. Sir, we need to talk, because how much is she paying you to babysit your own kids?
No, that's crazy, and I think that if the thing is not about how we educate the woman, it's how we educate the men, the boys, when they are little, and not being like, oh, you're a boy, go play with your toys. And I don't know, for example, for Christmas, an example, okay, Christmas, what you will receive as a baby girl or girl is like a little kitchenette, little vacuum, little Barbies, little babies. Yeah. And you're happy because you're like, yay. And I don't know why. It's like culturally in you. And I think that if the society doesn't change about that, that's how we we create the mentality of the man being like, no, this is normal. If the little boy has the same choice, I'm not saying that they should play with Barbies if they don't want to. If they want to play soldiers, go ahead. But give them the kitchenette too. What? But I mean, if you're offering a kitchenette to your girl, offer the same thing to your boy. And I think that it will be the beginning of the changes.
Yeah, like if you start including, my biggest thing is we've talked about it before. I'm Congolese, right? And the culture. like I've seen it where it was like by the time I was 9, I made my own bed.
Mm-hmm.
I knew how to at least begin to make breakfast. You know, it's like all
Yeah.
these little things that are like quote unquote things women should know. By the time my brother was 9, he wasn't even making his bed.
Yeah, because the mother will still be like behind the boy and do the things that they're not supposed to do because it's the woman that should do it.
And I think it's even worse when it's like the only boy,
Oh,
because then he's like the baby, and everybody's like, you know, I understand the idea of masculinity and having to be a man, whatever. But the thing is, being a man doesn't mean not knowing how to survive on your own.
yeah, and I think that there is also a misconception about masculinity. It's not because you have a part of femininity in you that you are not a man, also, because you can just be okay and like um in sync with your feelings and be able to talk about your feelings and still be a man and still be able to, I don't know, to do whatever they want to do,
Mm-hmm.
without having the fear of being judged because they're crying, or because I think also this is not normal to inculcate to little boys that crying is not good because no, you're not a
No.
girl. This
Or
is not good either.
then they're not being emotionally mature. They will never get to that emotional maturity.
Hmm.
And then they'll end up getting in a relationship where they are emotionally unavailable
Yeah.
because they don't, first of all, they don't know how to acknowledge their own feelings. Like, I'm not supposed to cry, but they don't know that tears can be tears of joy.
Yeah. No, 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 I completely agree. And that's
But
part of the
so,
misconception. And I don't think that's also easy for, like, because some men that will be in sync with their feelings will be judged by other men or women being like, oh my God, he's such a,
he's
mm-mm.
oversensitive. He's
Yeah,
so oversensitive. He's so soft. Well,
no, he's
I want
mature.
somebody who, like, why are we saying what is the problem when you see a man who is fully aware of his emotions, big enough to acknowledge them, have strong conversations that are not just surface level, they go deep? Why are we making that such a, this is for women or this is not okay? Because I'll be honest, there are women out there who can't do that.
No. And I think it's like amazing that some men are capable of doing that because I think that they should all be able to do that, you know? So, well,
Well, we kind of touched a little bit on like gender roles in the family and like what is expected of women, such as childcare, cooking, cleaning, just taking care of everything.
yeah.
But I want to ask what your perspective is on maternal instinct.
Ooh, maternal instinct. I think it's something that was invented by men.
So that they don't have to take care of children.
Yeah, I think because for me there is no like maternal instinct. It's more like a human instinct. Because I don't believe in like the paternal maternal instincts.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that as a human being, when you're taking care of someone, you have this instinct of protecting the person,
Mm-hmm.
educating the person, and
Mm-hmm.
make that person the best person ever. And I don't think it's just like the mother that should do that or the mother that has that in her. I believe that either the father or the mother will have this instinct because they are a good human being. That's my opinion on maternal instincts.
Let me add on to that more. Not, I don't know if it's a question or just like me being like picking your brain on that, but you talk about how it's like something that everybody has in them. But if we go back to the conversation we were just having about emotional availability and maturity
Yeah.
altogether from men, some like you can find that there are homes where, let's say, there was two parents, and then one of the parents happened to die, God forbid. But the man is left in charge of the family, like literally taking care of everybody, maintaining a laundry schedule, making breakfast, don't forget lunch, like all that. And totally, it's a lot for one person to take on.
Mm-hmm.
But if that person is not emotionally mature, do you think they will still be able to reach that level of not just protecting the children, but caring for them as a parent?
I think it depends on a lot of things. But in my family, that happened. And my uncle was left alone with his three children. And at first, he always scared because, well, they lost their mother in this very complicated situation, and you're like, how they were going to survive without a mother, because it's not all, it's not a conception, but having like this link and this connection with your mother can be different sometimes than with your father. So you're like, how they're going to do that, blah blah blah. And at the end, at first it was complicated because you're alone and you did not choose to be alone, because you did not decide to divorce, for example. It was not your decision. But he was capable of doing everything at the house, his job, taking care of the kids, and I don't know, they had like extra um, scholar activities like dance, gymnastic, and he was going to drop them, each one of them, to the like activities and watching them. I think it depends
That
on the situation and how the human is.
mm-hmm. Because there is a flip side to that where somebody else could have reacted with, I can't do all this.
Yeah, because they're
And
overwhelmed.
exactly, like you are so overwhelmed and you can't handle this. And then they are like, you need a village. And I am not one to say you don't need a village. It takes courage and strength to ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
However, don't abuse your village.
No, I agree. But I
You
mean,
can ask
no, go ahead.
you can ask for help,
Yeah.
but know that this is not my out for every time I'm like, okay, this is too much for me.
No,
Eventually, you need to get to a point where you develop a system where you know that you have someone willing to help, but that doesn't mean they will always be available to do so.
no, I think that's where the maturity, like the emotional maturity, will come into play. Because at first you are overwhelmed with, like, for example, grief, the grief of your children to handle, and just like being alone without choosing to be alone, and be like, oh my God, how I'm going to do that? And that's like very human to ask all these questions to yourself. How I'm going to do that by myself? I didn't not choose that, blah blah blah. And at some point you will rely on people, and that's okay. But you're right when you're saying that you have to have a system to be able to take care of yourself, of your children, by yourself. Because counting on everybody all the time is not good either.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna follow up with because we're talking about finding a system, raising kids, and everything. Like, how do you think of gendered parenting, and also, how do I want to phrase this?
Okay. No, try.
What I think. Uh, how are we, like, okay, this is the question, I guess. Are we seeing changes in how wow, households are being ran, like dual parenting, like you have two parents? Are we seeing that the responsibility of the children fall on one, and then the responsibility of providing fall on the other? Or is it are we seeing an increasing balance in that term, in that area? I guess that's my question. It's funny, I feel like I'm really interviewing you right now. Strawberry, please answer the question. What is
Well,
your professional views?
I think that there is like, in my opinion, and you will say otherwise if you don't have the same opinion
I
as me.
disagree.
It's like you have this thing about motherhood where you have to take care of like everything. And like fatherhood is more like a bonus, and the motherhood will be like a penalty. And I'm sorry to say that.
No, 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 no. That is so true, because sometimes that's how it looks like.
Yeah. Like the woman, like they will have a career, and often they will have children, and they will have to put aside their work or slow down a little bit because they have to, I don't know, take care of the children. If it's a choice, that's okay. If if it's the choice of the woman, that's okay, because you're following what you want to do, not what you're supposed to do. This is the big difference. And the man, on the other hand, it will be more like it's a bonus to be a father because it will only be the good times. Like the father will be working, traveling for work, whatever he's doing, and oh, I'm going back home a little bit earlier today so I can kiss my kids goodnight. It's only about the good thing.
Then it leaves one person to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
There will be a moment where it's like dad always says yes, mom always says no. It's because dad is worried about being loved, while mom is worried about raising you to be a decent human being sometimes.
Yeah.
And
And mhm.
it's just, why can't you both be the good guy and the bad guy? Where do you find that balance? How do you even get to that balance is the question, I would say.
Most of the father, well, okay. Let's say that the woman will take care of their children more than the fathers. And the father will be there on the weekends, for example.
Mm.
So they will be involved during the weekend, and they don't want to be the bad guy because they want to enjoy the time with their children because there are not enough here. So they need to to make it the best of it, you know? And when you think about it, that says a lot about the there is like this conception of having the patriarchal family. So the man is like head of the household. He dominates and he makes the decision. But when you think about it, even if the women are working and they are doing all of the stuff aside of taking care of the family, or even if they were stay-at-home moms, it's not patriarchal family when you think about it because they are making all the decisions.
Mom will take
And
care of
it
it.
just popped into my head, and I was like, this is not like a patriarchal family model. This is a matriarchal family model. And the women are smart enough to let them think that
They're
they
in
are,
charge.
yeah,
No, because this is so true, though.
yeah,
That's usually what they're doing. Like, you want to think you're the leader? Go ahead, play leader.
you're just a puppet.
That is so true. That is definitely a true fact.
Yeah. And
Women
I
are the
just like
mastermind.
thought about it.
women are the mastermind. I'm sorry, now I'm sitting here and rethinking how true that is, because interestingly enough, it's something that is not talked about enough, because I think women just don't want to bring attention to it. They're like, let it be on the rock.
Okay, we'll cut that just to make sure that it's
Why
still a
not?
secret.
But well, kind of moving out of the family views on gender role, and maybe moving into work ideas and education ideas, and what are appropriate places for women to be in those areas. I think one big thing for me that I've noticed is there are job, quote unquote, for girl and boys.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to start with the most basic one, okay?
Okay.
Educators. People always think of educators like it's a female teacher. And the other area is nursing, where everybody seems to assume that the only person who can be a nurse
Is a
is a
woman.
female.
Yeah.
Like, you need to be a woman to, because it plays back into what we talked about: caregiving, nurturing. It is in us. We must provide for others.
Yeah.
And then the third job that also came to mind was receptionist.
That's true.
You need to be delightful, kind,
Yeah.
smiling all the time. We can't have a big, strong man sitting at the front there, barely smiling, like, "Hey, yo, what you doing here today?" Like, you're right, that would scare me too.
I love the impression though.
Thank you.
No,
I do
you're
voice
so
acting
right.
on the side.
Yeah. But I mean, it's so true when you think about it. I mean, even from like the childhood, you are going towards certain careers because of your gender. And also, I don't know if it was the same thing in the Congo, but in France, the boys were getting, they were pushed to do like math, science, have something with like leadership. And in France, when you were not good, like for example in math, it's normal because you were a girl. It's not because of the education that you're giving or because you're not a good enough teacher. It's because you're a woman that you don't understand basic math.
And it is true, because it was the same thing in the Congo.
Yeah.
They don't make it obvious.
No.
That's the thing. They don't make it like this is what we're doing. But you notice, by the time I was in 11th grade in the Congo, before I moved, I was studying mathematics, like mathematics and physics was my focus, because there was biochemistry and then there was mathematics and physics.
Okay.
I think there were 5 girls in that class. And everybody else was a guy. And sometimes the guys would poke at us like, "Oh, you think you're so smart." What I know I am. What you talking about?
Yeah.
My grades are better than yours. Remember that next time. Like, what are we fighting over? I'm here. I earned my spot. You, questionable. Me, I earned it.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. We have to earn the respect in our position. Earn that position. Like, you have to, these are the idea. Oh, she got there because, example 1, she's sleeping with the boss.
Yep.
She could be smart, hardworking, but okay, no thank you. Or, daddy's got money. Thank you to my daddy, because of course he does. So what do you want me to, like,
Yeah.
what is so bad with your dad having connections? Because let's be honest,
If you had those
everybody,
connections,
you will
would
use
not
them
use
too. And then there is the, somebody else is doing the work for her. She's just sitting in a pretty office. First of all, thank you. I really put so much thought into my office for you to look pretty. And second of all, no, I'm the one pulling the all-nighters, nobody else.
Yeah.
Put some respect. Like, I went to school. I did the work. I studied.
Mm-hmm. But
Why are we undermining my degree?
that's where I think that there is like this gender stereotyping in education that will carries into the workplace. And like there is like quote unquote like the glass ceiling that will prevent women from leadership positions. And and obviously even if the woman has the same position as the man, there will still be the wage gap.
And nobody, all the men, if the woman is the head, all the men under her are technically not taking her seriously most
Yeah.
times. And it's so, like, it's frustrating because you're like, why are we doing that to this person? Thinking was when you were talking about how it starts in the schools, like
Yeah.
the way they guide you. But I think it even starts before that. The books you're reading when you're in first grade.
Yeah.
What is the woman always doing? Mom is cooking, dad is working,
Mm-hmm.
or my sister is helping mom cook. I'm playing video games. Like, what are we telling them through all those readings? Like, you're not telling your boy that you can be in the kitchen with mom and cook. You're telling your boy that only sister can go help. You good to go.
Yeah, that's true. And I think that, for example, men who wants to be, I don't know, a teacher or a nurse or a receptionist, for example,
Ooh.
will still face stigma of that kind of jobs. And I think that it's at that point it's not just about like equality, it's about like freedom for everyone to choose the work they actually want to do.
Yeah. Like, don't force me into a box I don't fit.
Yeah, that's the thing about like these big cultural forces with the media, with the books, where when you grow up you are seeing women like in ads or in books always portrayed as like mothers, cooks, or objects of beauty. And meanwhile the men are pictured or as heroes, leaders, athletes, and you will not see the same representation in the media. For example, if you're if there is an advertisement for a shower gel, the woman will be like almost naked on TV, even like for the, I don't know, the cat food. If they can put a woman naked or almost naked on it, they will.
She's wearing her shorts and just a little crop top. I'm like, she's feeding a cat at home. She should be in sweatpants and a hoodie.
And that's crazy. And that's the gender representation in media. And while you have like social media, the people challenging the stereotypes and everything, you will still have on social media like the model that has like the perfect body, the perfect hair, whatever, and that does not represent the truth, and that reinforces beauty standards also that are a big thing in like the world.
Society has decided that, like, it's also not just beauty, but it's like society, mostly men, have decided what makes a woman beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
What counts as beauty. Like, your height, you cannot be too tall, you cannot be too short, obviously.
Yeah, because if you're too tall and the man is too small, then there is an issue. And a tall woman will not be as attractive as like a woman that is like in the middle, average. I don't know, it's like I think it's cultural and the traditions, because, for example, a woman that is educated, a woman that speaks up for herself, a woman that
You don't want to be that.
you don't want to be that, but the men are scared of that. You want to be that.
You don't want to be that. You don't want to be smart. You don't want to speak
No,
up. Just shh. Stand quiet in the corner, put your pretty dress on, and be the side piece, okay?
and smile.
The eye candy. Don't
Exactly,
forget to
but that's
smile.
it's not 1920, baby boy.
Baby boy is crazy.
No, but I mean, why? Men are saying baby girl, why not baby boy?
Yeah, I was like, I love that. I love that for the baby boys.
Or pretty boy. And that's when I think that the culture matters, because the Scandinavian countries, they will emphasize equality, but in others, the traditional roles remain very strong and will not change except if we are part of the change. That's why we are doing this podcast.
Yes, two women. See, look at us, two women doing this. Look at us having this conversation. But one thing that is true, because we're talking about in the place of work, is the difference in pay. If you don't feel like what you're doing matters because you're not being compensated enough and they're paying you to do, they ask you to do a job but pay you to not do that job. You're not being compensated
Okay.
for the job you're doing. Pay you to not do that job. Basically, I mean, if you're underpaying me,
Yeah.
that means you don't want me to do my job.
I mean, if you're paying me that much, I should do less.
But you want more from me. And the second I do less, it's your excuse to fire me.
Yeah. And there is this thing when you have like the requirements, like what we are expecting from you. Work under stress, work, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yeah, so you want me to do the work of like 10 people for the salary of one person?
Half a person. Wow. This has become a very good conversation. I love it.
Very intense.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier media, how representation in media also help influence these gender roles and gender like norms.
Yeah.
I want to hear more about that though from you.
Well, I think that's either on TV, movies, advertising, they reinforce the stereotypes because they sexualize or domestic the women are sexualized or domestic. Like Desperado's Wife is a good example. I'm rewatching that right now, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so true. But at the same time, I feel like this TV show is about showing how the women in the suburban are. And I think that that's still kind of true right now, like in the TV show, like in the movies. Now there is like superheroes that are women, but it's still pretty rare compared to the men. And the woman at some point will always be seen as an object, or again sexualized, because that's what the woman is for, I feel. Today's society. What do you think of that?
I think that is true. Like women are over sexualized. You gave the example of superhero. Why is certain, you know how men superhero have those cool suit that cover their body?
Yeah.
Why is the girl like Superwoman, Wonder Woman, basically, she has skin exposed? That's dangerous for battle. What's the practicality?
Mm-hmm. And Catwoman.
How is she supposed to jump and run in that leather suit? I don't even think it's leather. I don't know. I feel like I have a cat stuck in my throat. Okay. J'ai un chat dans la gorge.
Cherche dans la gorge.
Yeah. But like TV, that's what we're talking about. The woman is never, if the woman is put in a show, if she's at the top, she's the leader, at some point in the plot, she's gonna have a mental breakdown
Yeah.
because she's too overwhelmed. It's so much. You're asking a lot of me. Almost portraying the woman as somebody who cannot be in like control of.
There's also this thing about I'm sorry, I couldn't speak with you like that.
Okay, I don't know what's going on. I'm good.
There is also this thing about, for example, in the TV show where the woman is a leader and she will, I don't know, for example, sleep with like her secretary or assistant. No, or assistant or whatever, the client. Um, they will
Anybody
be,
that moves.
yeah, people will be like, oh my God, she's sleeping with that, blah, blah, blah. They will talk about it. That will make noise. But if the man is doing the same thing, well, this is okay because it's culturally okay for a man to act in that way.
The world has accepted it.
Yeah.
The world is expecting that of men. Like everybody's like, it's okay. Even in relationship, if a man cheats, I will talk from like what I've seen in my own culture. If a man cheats, women are expecting to stay.
Yeah.
You are supposed to endure. You have the strength and the resilience. Why am I choosing pain? Let's just be honest. Why are you choosing pain? But a man,
They told you it was okay for a man to do that and to accept it.
nobody's like, oh my God, look at, everybody's like, oh, he's cheating. He was always a player. He was always a player? First of all, okay. It's as if saying this was expected or you knew what you were getting into. If I knew what I was getting into, I was not going to get into it.
No, but the thing that you knew what you were going into is like a big thing. People will point out that you knew that he was like that, and that is your fault because you made the choice to be with him. And the real issue is not about him cheating. The issue is about you choosing to be with him.
But if he told me he loved me, cared about me, would stay, never lies, whatever, like what you're choosing to do is not accept that he is going to cheat.
No,
but rather that you trust that he loves you enough to not do that. And like, why are we saying, almost blaming you for being in that place?
Because that's how the society works. It's about shaming the people that did nothing wrong, to point out that you made a wrong choice. And I mean, if you're choosing to be with someone, it's because you gave them your trust, and not like first day. The trust was built on, and because of that, you trusted that person.
And he proved himself on and on and on and on. Yeah. And he kept showing up for you. And then you get into that and you're involved at that point, like you're deep. You're like, okay, I'm ready for everything and anything to come our way. Just for them to take everything and anything, blend it in a blender, pour it down the toilet, and then flush.
No, that's
what they do. And it is so unfair that most time people will tell you. And sometimes it's not even that it's the people who are not close to you. It's the people in your life.
Yeah, but again, I think that's the difference about masculinity and femininity, where you have this cultural idea about the traits associated with the man. He's like strong, he's independent, and the woman is like nurturing, she has beauty. And if the woman is also strong and independent, people will fear it. And if the woman is cheating, that's not normal, and she's a
Oh,
slut beauty.
and also they will make the woman feel so bad if she's the cheater.
Yeah, compared to
Men have
men.
in their little group, they have this little, oh my God, you tapped that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like everybody's talking and almost praising you
Mm-hmm.
for
It's
doing that. Like
that,
culturally, it's like everybody's like, oh my God, you were able to like cheat and still not be caught, or like cheat and she's still with you. Like, teach me your ways.
and that's part of the toxic masculinity, where I think that by raising them that way, they have like some pressure on men to suppress their emotions, to dominate
Mm-hmm.
others.
Mm-hmm.
By others, I mean women, or avoid like vulnerability and being like, it's okay if I act that way because I'm a man. And now I think it's where there is like this complexity, because it's okay for a man to be toxic, but for a woman to be toxic, she's like she's manipulating.
But let's kind of move. We've talked a lot about all the bad things, but let's point out the good stuff. That this is not a rule. Well, it may be a rule, but there are exceptions. We are seeing changes in all the areas we've talked about. Like, let's start with family. Like, a few changes that we have seen there is not necessarily the 50-50 household, that I don't think is a benefit, um, but more like support for the women.
Yeah, like the maternity, like the fact that the one thing that I liked is it's not only the women now that have like more maternity leave, it's like parental leave. That's something that we are happy with.
Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest, one thing that I love to see on social media is women who are like, I never went through postpartum alone. They had a partner that was present, caring, supportive, patient, and understanding.
Yeah,
Years ago, they are like way back. They would expect you to just bounce back and go back to cooking, cleaning, and get the house together because people are coming over for a party because you just had a shower and you have to host those people.
yeah,
But I think we're seeing more intentionality towards, if you want to come to visit the person who just gave birth, that's okay. But don't make them get ready for it.
yeah,
Bring the food yourself. Make it a potluck vibe. Catering. Like there is so much more intentionality toward caring for a woman.
mm. No, I agree. And I also want to emphasize one thing that we did not really talked about is non-binary and genderqueer people, where I think that's something also that is kind of difficult to find your place right now, because in the work like in work or school, you don't have like gender neutral things. Workplaces that are experimenting in a way with like gender neutral hiring is a good thing. Having also flexible hours, and the fact that you can work from home now, like remotely. I think that remote work, either for the man or the woman, are important because you can be more with your family, but at the same time be at work. So I think that we're leaning towards something that is very good because,
Family oriented.
yeah, exactly.
Like understanding like a family is the parents and the child, not just mom, the child, the children, and then dad is here, pops in and go out. Like, The other thing is we talk about how school for example, is very leading children into specific path and what they should be. But now I will say I've seen why do I know of children books? That's a whole different question for another day. I'm a reader, okay? That includes children books sometimes. Um,
Not judging.
exactly. Thank you. But they no longer have only those very strict gender roles in the books.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just, look, mom is cooking, but now you get mom working. You get dad cooking dinner.
I think that's good. That's how
The son,
you fight the stereotypes.
yep.
Yeah.
The son helping with the dishes.
Mm-hmm.
And also you see a dynamic that's very different, even in shows nowadays. Like I watch Bluey. I love Bluey. Bluey is great. But you get the dad who plays with his kids,
Yeah.
but sometimes disciplines them.
Okay.
However, I will point out there was one episode that I watched. It was dad was going to go to take the kids. Summary: dad is taking the kids to the pool. He forgets everything. The kids are saying dad is more fun, mom is not fun, mom has more rules. We talked about it. Dad forgot everything. No sunscreen, no floaties, no towel. They get there, the pool is no longer fun because you can only swim under the shade, and you don't have anything to dry with. You don't have snacks. Like now there are those rules that should not be there.
Yeah.
Then mom comes as the superhero that she is, and she said, dad forgot the beach bag. And I'm just saying, like, wow. That is a summary of what we talked about.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I think it also brings awareness to how sometimes men wants to be the fun parent.
Yeah.
Forgetting that in order to have fun, sometimes you need necessities. I love that. It's one of my favorite episodes of Bluey. You should check it out. Oh, I love Bluey so much. But those kind of shows have really helped
Yeah.
lead to a shifted culture
Mm-hmm.
of parenting
Yeah.
and of family dynamics, like how both parents are in the kitchen cooking, the kids are with the parent. It's not just that you have mom in the kitchen, dad on the couch watching football, and the kids doing whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
Like I think we've come forward. I wouldn't say a long way forward.
No, I agree. Well, I think that like gender roles were being challenged like never before. That you have masculinity and femininity that are being like kind of redefined in a way because men can show more vulnerability compared to the past and women can lead. But there is still this issue of like the non-binary people that are saying we don't fit into these boxes at all. And that's kind of complicated, but I think that the social media, even like the way that the stories are told can either challenge or reinforce the stereotypes, which is like kind of complicated because sometimes the people will tell a story and you're like, you're not denouncing anything, you're just reinforcing the way that people will think about that. But I think that the more you will talk about it, the more like the future could be like freer, it could be more inclusive and more flexible, but all of that depends on whether we can push for change now. And the question that we'll have like for the listeners is, how do you challenge gender roles in your daily life?
I will also say that this is kind of my own struggle too, but it's more the idea of us as the next generation. Are we aware that we are the next people who need to lead to those changes? But it's like, are we aware? There we go. As the next generation, we used to be children, but sometimes I still see myself as a powerless person, like I'm a child, but I need to get out of that mentality and be like, I am an adult now. I am the setter of new rules now. It's like it is no longer just somebody else is going to fight those battles. I eventually have to fight them too.
Yeah.
So it's just being aware of those things also does help us a lot.
No, I agree.
So, guys, today was a very fun episode. But like always, we must end with strawberries words of wisdom.
Thank you, Mango. So I'll say that basically, I want to emphasize that identity today is like more fluid, and society still has like still trying to catch up on it. And but if we could imagine the future, ideally there will not be roles at all. People will just choose based on their preference and not on expectation of people, of others. And I think that the more we talk about it, the more we try to challenge the stereotypes and how the society can want us to be or want us to behave, the more we will be free, the more we'll be like freer. We'll be able to do whatever we want to do without anybody telling you, no, you should not do that. So I think that speaking up for ourselves at the end, it will just help us, help you to be just who you want to be and not who you're supposed to be.
Did we have a French word of the day?
Chat dans la gorge.
Oh, with both. I've coughed a lot. She just coughed a little bit or sneezed. So, guys, we have a cat in our throat and chat dans la gorge. It's just a little bit of an itch there that you can't get rid of. It's there. It's not going anywhere, apparently. But there we go. Your French word of the day. We hope you use it as often as we do. Otherwise, guys, thank you for your patience.
Thank you so much for listening. It was
Mango
and Strawberry. Des bisous fruités.